This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Now obviously this may look a little different. I'm actually dog sitting for my aunt, so this is her condo, so I'm not in my house. But you know, the news must, the news still has to go on. So let's continue. So now let's get to the news for Monday, April 13th of 2026. Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace is closed for a refurb at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. No reopening date has been announced. So they are refurbishing part of this terrace. As of right now, there is no reopening date. So when we know more, you'll know more. But as of right now, there is no reopening date for Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace at Walt Disney World. Rock and Roller Coaster guitar design was inspired by the famous Muppets car in the very first movie called the Muppet movie. If you're a fan of the Muppets, you know that the Electric Mayhem's van was that psychedelic color. They actually painted Fozzie's Studebaker so they could hide from Doc Hopper. They painted it in that kind of psychedelic color. It's a takeoff on that. And the first song actually has also been announced. The only song that we know confirmed is called Song 2, which I'm not a big fan of that song. I don't know why they would even pick that song. But I mean, whatever. But I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping that, knock on wood, that we'll get one of the songs will be moving right along. And this attraction is going to be very similar to Rock and Roller Coaster in the fact that it will have different song tracks. So much like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over at Epcot, there's going to be different songs. So I hope that they go through with that, because Song 2 is I don't like that. I really don't like that choice. So again, hopefully they'll add some more songs to this. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of that. But you guys will let me know. You have to let me know how you feel about it. But I don't like that idea. I really don't. Men's Tangled restroom area is closed for refurbishment at the Magic Kingdom. So some may say that some may say that the park's best restrooms, the Tangled themed restrooms, are the best at Magic Kingdom. But just keep in mind that the men's The men's restroom right now is closed. The women's, I believe, is still open, and I would probably assume the companion one is open as well. So it's just the men's right now that's closed. It could be at a later date they'll close the women's for refurbishment too, but we'll just have to keep our eyes open with that one. But it is nice that it is nice that Disney kind of certain times they have to close these restrooms for refurbishment, because obviously there's a lot of wear and tear and everything that goes along. So you may remember that the Pinocchio Village House restrooms were closed for quite a while. But that was all one big refurb. With this one, it's just the men's. So I don't know if something was wrong with the men's restroom and they had to take a look at it, or if they're just doing these one at a time. I don't know. We'll have to keep our eyes and ears open for this. Permit has been filed for signage at the Little Mermaid Theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So I don't really know why they filed a signage permit, since there's obviously already a sign there. I don't know if it's, if they're going to change it to kind of fit more into the animation courtyard theme when all of the work gets done. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of find that hard to believe that Disney would put a sign up and then decide, well, we don't really like that sign, we're going to take it down. I don't know. I find that kind of hard to believe. I don't think that Disney would do that, especially since they just changed the sign. But I mean, to me personally, I didn't really see anything wrong with the old one. I know that the old one was obviously, it was not new. It was a very old sign. That sign has, weathered a lot of hurricanes and storms and such. So, I kind of understand why they had to change it, but, I still miss I miss the 3D Ariel and Flounder and Sebastian. I miss that, the cardboard cutouts for King Triton and Ursula. That was a different story, but I miss the 3D characters on top of the sign. But I find it hard to believe that Disney would change the sign since they just installed it. But we'll just have, that this is a running theme to this show is we're just going to have to wait and see, but again, I don't think that they would change that sign again since they just changed it, but we'll just have to keep our eyes open with this one. So, but we'll see. Disney shares update for storyline for Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This is just a little bit more polished version of the story that we already know. We already know the backstory of the ride. We know that Scooter's uncle, J.P. Gross, who was the owner of the Muppets Theater, purchased this recording studio, and he put Scooter in charge. The Electric Mayhem are there rehearsing for their concert, and then we get to go and join them on we get to join them on their fast-paced ride to their said concert. So we kind of already know this story. Maybe just a little bit more polished story, but it's basically the same story that we already know. So not really anything new there. Just a little bit more of a polished version of it. But you know, again, you know, we already know what this story is going to be like. So, it's just a little bit more of a polished version of it. Toy Story annual pass holder magnet, release date and location have now been revealed. For us Walt Disney World annual pass holders. The location, you can pick it up in Toy Story Land at Epcot because that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know why they would, release it at Epcot since, Toy Story doesn't have anything to do with Epcot, but okay. All right. If you say so. You can pick this magnet up from the Creations shop starting May 1st until July 31st. Of course, while supplies last. So I'll be going to get my new magnet. Why it's at the Creation shop, I have no idea. I have no idea why it's in Epcot. Okay, I have no idea. With Animal Kingdom, especially, when they released the Nick and Judy annual pass, they obviously released it at Animal Kingdom because that makes sense. So releasing a Toy Story magnet, which there's a land at Hollywood Studios, why they would release it at Epcot, I have no idea. I have no idea. That is a very good question. So it just seems kind of weird to me on how, sometimes they, when they release these magnets and they more or less they release them at Epcot. Maleficent was released there. This, Toy Story is going to be released there. Most of them are released at Epcot, but, sometimes they'll release them at Animal Kingdom. I don't know why they never, the other parks don't get, magnets, the magnets pickup locations. We either have to pick them up at Epcot or Disney's Animal Kingdom. So I don't know why, Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom are never included in the magnet pickup. But I mean, it just seems kind of weird to me that, you have a Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios, you would think you would release it there. Nope, you're going to release it at Epcot. But that's okay. That's fine. Whatever. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad reopens on Lightning Lane list at Walt Disney World. It will be a Tier 1 attraction, just like it did before. So when this gets released, when Big Thunder Mountain Railroad reopens on May 3rd, hotel guests 7 days prior to that can purchase it, and then people that aren't staying there, not staying on property like myself, can purchase it 3 days in advance, which, obviously it's going to sell out anyway. But, you don't really need a lightning lane. I'm going to tell you something, okay? Very rarely do you need a lightning lane for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at the Magic Kingdom. Very rarely do you need it. Now, obviously, with May 3rd being the first day of reopening. Obviously, it's going to be very, 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 very busy. But other than that, you don't need a lightning lane for it. Okay? That line moves incredibly quick. Incredibly quick. You know, again, it's a dual loading attraction. There's 2 load stations, so they're constantly loading either side. So, you know, again, I really wouldn't waste your lightning lane on it. Again, if you're going to go on the 3rd, I would say yes, you need to buy it. But other than that, I don't think you need it. I just don't think you need a lightning lane for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's just not needed. You just don't need it. So, you know. All right. Disney's Hollywood Studios is closing early in June for a private event. It will be closing on June 18th. It will be closing at 6 o'clock instead of the normal 9 o'clock. It's a private event hosted by the Society for Human Resource Management. So if you are heading to Hollywood Studios on that date, just keep that in mind that at 6 o'clock, the park will be closing. I assume Fantasmic will not be performed on that date. I would kind of find it hard to believe that since it's closing at 6, Fantasmic would be performed. So I would, it's probably a safe bet that Fantasmic will not be running on June 18th. So just plan accordingly, okay? Carousel canopy frame is taking shape as construction continues at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I was just at Animal Kingdom the other day. I did walk by the Tropical Americas section. It looks like they are progressing on that carousel. Progressing probably pretty quick. This is probably going to be the first ride completed because obviously a carousel takes a lot less time to build than, an actual ride, an actual dark ride. So, Indiana Jones and Encanto, they're going to take, it's going to take a little bit longer to do those. Probably Encanto more so than Indiana Jones, because Indiana Jones is just a reskin of Dinosaur. So they already have the building, they have the pre-show, they have the queue, they have everything in place for that ride. Encanto is a different story. The Encanto ride is a different story because they're building that from scratch. So that whole show building and facade and queue and everything, that is a completely new section of Animal Kingdom. So it's going to take them a little bit longer to complete than said carousel and probably the Indiana Jones ride. Now, I don't know. I could be wrong. It would just seem to me that probably the order it's going to open is the carousel will be done first, then Indiana Jones, and then Encanto. But I don't know. That's just speculation. So I have no idea. So again, kids, say it with me. We will just have to wait and see. All right, here's something that makes me extremely happy. Pink paint has been completely removed from Cinderella Castle at the Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is now painted back to its original colors. I love it. I love this. This is great. Every time I walk into Magic Kingdom now, I don't die looking at that awful pink color anymore. I see Cinderella Castle in its in its original state. So I love this. This is fantastic. Thank you for doing this, because we needed that. We really needed Cinderella Castle to be repainted and gone back to its former glory. So I love it. I absolutely love this. So thank you, Disney, for doing this. All right, here's an incident that I have to report on. A British man has been arrested for pushing teenage girl in line at the Magic Kingdom. They were in line. He was in line for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This teenage girl was going through the line because she was trying to catch up to her other party, possibly her family. And this guy got annoyed and decided to push this teenage girl. Look, I have sat here, well, not in this chair, but I have sat here on this show, and I have, reported on a lot of guest instances. People are behaving really stupidly these days. They're behaving more stupid than ever. It's outrageous. It's ridiculous. I got pushed at the Magic Kingdom one day by someone, because me being a sane person, I saw the guy coming at me. I moved out of the way. He immediately cut in front of me, and he grabbed me and pushed me aside. And I said, "You can either walk away now, or I can take you to security." I said, "Your choice." I said, "I would take the latter, because I'm not dealing with this today." And he left. So, I don't stand for, if someone's yelling at me, that's one thing. If another guest puts their hands on me, then it's over. It's over. I'm dragging your ass to security. Okay? Because that's outrageous. That is outrageous behavior. You cannot do that. You cannot do that, and you will not do that. So, as we learn more about this story, I hope that the girl decided to press charges on this man. I don't know. We don't have all the details yet, but this is outrageous. This is outrageous. If that was me, I would have been like, "We're finding a cast member now, and I'm going to report you." I almost said sue, but I'm going to report you, because that's outrageous. That is outrageous behavior. If you're going to come to Walt Disney World and do that, then this is not the place for you. This is not the place for you. Don't come here and act like you're some entitled, king or queen, because you're not. You are not. You are just like everybody else. And I really, that's a harsh reality, because I know that Disney wants to make you feel like you're royalty and everything by giving them extra money for Lightning Lane and such. But I got news for you. Yeah, you are not. You ain't. Okay? You are just like everybody else. So I'm telling that to anybody who is, who has done that, or, or has thought about, a physical altercation at one of the theme parks. Okay. Now I can't speak for anybody else. I can't, but speaking for me, if you do that to me, I'm dragging you to security. I'm dragging you to security, and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay. So if that was me, I would have been like, I'm not playing this game. I ain't playing this game. We're going to security right now, because I ain't doing this. I ain't doing it. So, but it is sad now that we live in a world where people think that they're better than everybody else, and think that they can just do anything and everything and anything they want to. And I got news for you, folks. It's not that way. It is not that way. All right. Aerial photos from BioReconstruct on X show continued retheming of Muppets Courtyard into a Monstropolis at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So if you want to take a look at any construction photos, definitely look up BioReconstruct on X, because he is, I would venture to say that he's the only one allowed to fly around the Magic Kingdom, fly around the Walt Disney World Resort and take pictures. I would assume that he's the only one that can do that. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me on this, but I believe that he's the only one that's allowed to fly around property and take pictures. But if you're ever curious about it, look him up on X. Look him up, because he provides a lot of great photos. A lot of great photos. Walls have been removed from A Wing in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So this was probably just a quick refurbishment of the A Wing, because obviously it sits out in the elements 365 days a year. So they probably just did some kind of refurbishment on it. So now it looks great. It looks, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's refreshed. It's refreshed and it looks great. It really does. All right, here's another part of my soul that gets ripped out now every time I have to report on stuff like this. Water tower has been removed from former Muppets Courtyard for Monstropolis transformation at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Could they have kept the water tower? I think so, but again, there is no water tower in Monstropolis. As far as I remember, there was no water tower, so they had to remove it. That makes me sad. I mean, this whole project just makes me sad. Anyway, the more and more they chip away at Grand Avenue, it just the more I die. So, I know I sound like a repetitious. I sound repetitious on on this, but again, I am going to say I am wearing my Muppets shirt today because of all this construction going on. Again, I'm not going into this whole Muppets rant. I've done I think like 4 rants already on Muppets Courtyard, so I'm not really wanting to do a 5th one. Go watch those if you want to see me rant for a couple hours on getting rid of Muppet Vision 3D and Muppets Courtyard or Grand Avenue, if you will. But again, it's chipping away at my soul, chipping away at what I love about Hollywood Studios, and soon there will be nothing left. All right, and now for our last story. This is something that really makes me happy. Peter Pan and Wendy are finally flying for the first time in Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away Parade at Walt Disney World. This is fantastic. I love this. Now, look, I've done an honest review of this parade. It's not my favorite thing. I don't really care for it. It's not the greatest thing, but and I said this on my honest review. I said the thing that would make this parade better is if Peter Pan and Wendy are flying like they originally said they would when the parade was announced. And they finally are. They are finally flying. So that's going to elevate this parade for me. Is it going to be my favorite parade? Probably not. But, you know, this would make it better. This would absolutely make it a whole lot better for me to enjoy. So that's great. That's great. I don't know if this was an OSHA thing, if they had to clear it with OSHA or what, but Disney finally delivered. Disney finally delivered, and now Peter Pan and Wendy are flying in this parade. And that's fantastic. That is fantastic. So Disney, thank you for doing that. Thank you. And that really shows the competency of this management. It really, really does. Okay. So I'm excited to see Starlight again, so I can see Peter Pan and Wendy flying. That is great news. That is absolutely fantastic news. But there you are. There is your news for this Monday. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel for more content. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. Again, if you could subscribe to this channel, that would be great. Hit that like button, because that means it gets the video out to more and more people. The more people that like this video, the more it goes out to people that are interested in the Walt Disney Walt Disney theme parks. So that would be great. Please, smash that like button. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. It costs you absolutely nothing. So that's great. I really do appreciate it. But I thank you guys very much for watching this video. I will see you right back, not here, but back at my house on Wednesday for Wednesday's show. But until then, y'all keep each other safe and healthy. And remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.